Well, hello, dear colleagues.
Hi again.
Again, uh, the number of our attendees is growing step by step. It's only 1 minute that we started our webinar. So let's begin, and I think people will join us step by step. So
No
first
problem.
of all, good afternoon. In Georgia, it's 6 p.m. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is George Ticlauri. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Falcon Holidays, which is Caucasus-based DMC. During this period, we were waiting, as all of us, for things be changed. But now, when changes are started, we decided to start a series of our webinars. We hope to make it weekly to keep all our colleagues around the world updated about the situation in different countries. The first webinar we are organizing will be about the Georgia, Croatia, and Greece, which were named by Forbes the top green zone countries, top COVID-free countries. I think that our second webinar will be next week, and we will have the participants from Baltic countries. But today, let me introduce you our panelists. This is Ms. Davorka Rebic from Croatia.
Hello.
Line troll, and the second panelist is Mr. George Papakonstantinou from Greece, Nazotrol.
Good afternoon.
So, well, first of all, it was a very difficult period for all of us. In 2019, we had big plans. All of us, we had big plans for 2020, but this pandemic, it was a big crash, and it stopped all our plans for future. Now we have the new reality, and we are trying to adopt this new reality to find ourselves, to find our niche, to keep the working places, because behind our companies there are a lot of people with their families, and we have to take care about them, to take care about the employees, to take care about our guests, to take care about the people who want to travel. Anyway, I'm totally sure that once we'll be back to the situation we had in 2019, when people were traveling a lot around the world, because the humanity is traveling. It started in the Stone Age, and it's continuing for now, and nothing will happen. No, there is no reason and no pandemic which will stop it forever. So this is the case of the time, and well, we want to keep you up with the situation in different countries, because our business is global business, our business is international, and this is something we are all in together. So the thing is that now we have to show the big solidarity and big quality of the sharing of the information between each other, and this will be the only thing that will help us to save our companies in this difficult period. So first of all, I would like to ask Mrs. Davorka about the Croatia, about the situation in Croatia for now, and maybe you will share with us your the information about Croatia, because this is one of the first countries and less affected by COVID-19 in Europe. So, please.
Of course. Thank you. First of all, I would like to say hello, or like we always say here locally in Istria, ciao, because of the Italian influence. My name is Davorka, and I have more than 20 years of experience in tourism. I started very young as a student on faculty. Basically, before I started to work in the office, I was on the field as a tour guide, as a tour leader all around Europe. And now from the office, I'm working as a senior production specialist. I'm creating the products for our clients, mainly in group and FIT department. I was doing this job for a Scandinavian and UK market in the last couple of years. At the present time, I'm for this market in charge. Baltic area in last year, and few years before that, I was covering the Asian market. Regarding our situation in Croatia, basically, in general, our epidemiologists has been reacting very fast. They've been organized, and for that reason, in March, very early in the March, already we have been under lockdown for a certain period of time. On March 18th, for the following couple of weeks, we've been in the house, basically locked. We've been allowed only to go to supermarkets for supplies, and that's it. I was working for 3 months in the home office from house, because we have a huge building where we have approximately 200 people working on 3 floors. So we've been forced, for the security measures, to work home office. Basically, before a month ago, approximately, Croatia has been very strict with the measures. Only specific foreigners, because with a specific reason, they could enter into the state. But since 15th of June, mainly most of European citizens could enter in Croatia as a tourist with confirmation of the booking for any accommodation reservation, or if they have been invited for a business matter, or even if they are property owner. Those were basics, the reasons why some foreigner can enter in the state, but with the strict measures that obligatory self-isolation was required upon returning back home. From 2 days ago, the situation is even better. Now we are open basically for all Europe, without the restriction of going to self-isolation upon coming back home. We have been updated on a daily basis from our government about the entrance of foreigners. Also, in the last, we have been aware that if we open our border to tourists, to our guests, that we can expect some increase of potential risk of affected of this coronavirus clients. But it is under control, because Croatian government and epidemiologists, they've been issued the official protocol, especially for hotels, what steps they have to do for staff in the hospitality sector, and especially also for guests when they come to hotels. But we did notice upon current booking of mainly individuals, because groups we can, at this time, it's not possible. Only individuals, and mainly they are coming for holiday resorts, bungalows, camps, private villas, because they have that social distance, which is basic as a requirement to keep it 1.5 to 2 meters away from the other people. Also, today, unfortunately, we did had in the morning and now an hour ago 2 updates from our government that we do have increase of infected, but the source is from in the northern part of the state, not on Adriatic coast. It's not a tourist. It is a transit because Croatia is a transit zone from Western EU, where a lot of people as a residents of Eastern EU countries like Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania, or even Bosnia work in the EU countries. And when they are going now, it's a time of holidays, they are going through Croatia to their countries. For Serbia, now we have strict measures. So basically, it's not possible in and out to Serbia or Bosnia at the moment without self-isolation. These are few details. The important thing is to mention that the safety measures are the most important thing, and there will be always people who would like to travel. On social networks, we are following up all event or what's going on, everything what's going on, the questions of tourists, what their doubts and concerns are in general, which is normal. If I want to travel, this would be my first question: is it safe? At the moment, yes, but with the strict rules, as everywhere, wherever you go. Now the situation in general is like this. Mainly, the social distance is required. If you are going to the supermarkets or in some places where more than 5 to 10 people are in the room, then the face mask is recommended, and mainly hygiene. Very frequently wash hands on every entrance into the hotel, resort, public restroom, cafe, wherever you go where there is a higher concentration of people. It is obligatory to wash your hands, and even for your protection to put a face mask, even though some doctors say it will not protect you. Self-distance is the most important one.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Orko. Maybe
You're
you
very
will
welcome.
add something on the plans of your company. Maybe you will share your experience with us. How are you handling the COVID-19 situation now?
As I already mentioned, our board of directors and our management, we are following situation on a daily basis. Basically, if we make some decisions today, till Monday, something can change. From 1st of July, a lot of European international international flight companies has already opened their flights toward Croatian main international destinations like the capital Zagreb, Pula International Airport, where our head office is positioned in Croatia, Split and Dubrovnik. We are more oriented now on these basically unexpected situations. Try to be psychic, let's put it that way. Try to be careful, not to make any drastic steps. We are now in a tight and very intense communication with our hospitality partners, hotels, especially for autumn and winter time, for giving the special offers for to try to extend the season, especially for European area, because of the flight connections and the closeness of the destination for car guests, individuals. Southerly part of Croatian coast, down from Split to Dubrovnik, it's very difficult to do anything without flight companies, because it takes a long time to drive to get there, especially with families, for a family with a car. It can be very exhausting, and there is no point of doing holiday then. But if the flight companies extend their flight to Split and Dubrovnik, then we might have some expectations, but it will not be a season like we all wish to have, or even if we predict it. The important thing is now to basically keep our people employed. Our government, for in March already, they did had some measures, and they gave a financial support for 3 months salaries to cover up for all of us who are in tourism sector. In general, it was for the all Croatian companies, especially the private business, but mainly in tourism, because almost 20% of our general GDP is related to tourism. So basically now we will see what will happen, because on this Sunday, the day after tomorrow, we have party elections in the state. So we will see who will come. So in the next week, next time when we have this conversation, I will have much more information for you.
Well, thank you very much. So we
You're
can
very
say
welcome.
that in Croatia now, the situation, government is keeping the situation under control. That the transit tourism is, Croatia is a transit country, and mostly the tourists are coming by the vehicles now, as there are no flights. And you are trying to extend the season and keep cooperation with the hotel. This is like most important things. Well, I think this is a great beginning, because all of us, we understand that there will be some situations connected to small pandemic cases, but the most important thing is the government keeps it under control, and we are back to life, like we are back to the business, and this is the most important thing.
We sincerely hope so.
Yes. So I would like to kindly remind our attendees that you can send us your questions in Zoom. You can also send us your questions via Facebook. We have the live on our Facebook page, so you can give us your question. You can send us your questions. Also, if you will need some additional assistance, we can help you via email always. So this is what I wanted to remind. And Mr. George, we would like to listen for you now.
Okay, so let's start. Let's start first of all, Kalispera. Kalispera, that means good afternoon. From an Athens that is with 37 degrees Celsius, which is a bit hot, even for us Greeks. So the situation is as follows. Okay, Greece was one of the first countries that started taking things really, very serious by mid-March, like Croatia, and lockdown was affected immediately to all parts of the country. That means this probably saved us a lot of trouble on the way. Now, what's the situation? Okay, to give statistics and to say what happened then and here and now, I don't see it useful, but anyhow, the situation is, I would rather go to today, to the day of July 3rd, 2020. So first of all, as of July 1st, Greece has opened most of the airports, even the domestic airports around the country. and we're trying to work, as we say, business as usual. Of course, this is not business as usual. We all know it. This pandemic issue, this is the first time that something like that happens worldwide. So that means we have no previous information of how such a thing can be handled. But anyhow, the government in Greece is taking things very, very serious and trying to control the situation the best possible way. For instance, I have a very, very recent update of you just half an hour ago. From July 1st, about 3,000 on a special check of 3,611 passengers arriving the first day in various airports. We don't control everybody. You understand how the situation is. This is, they say, random picks from different airlines, different destinations, and so on. We had 11 confirmed COVID cases, which is a number that can be controlled. Of course, everybody knows that Greece is mainly dealing the travel industry via plane, or in certain cases via the ports of Patras and Igoumenitsa from the Adriatic coast, when we have clients willing to come on their own cars and so on. But these are the very few numbers, very few numbers, the lowest numbers. The majority until 2019 has been the flights. I mean, Greece welcomed last year, 2019, more than 34 million passengers, with something like 90% of them by flight. So for us, it has been crucial to see what was going to happen when our airports started working again. But it's not only the airports, these are the airlines as well, of how many of them are going to start doing the business as it used to be, or the new standards after the COVID period. And we all know that, for the airlines, it has been a disastrous case as well. In some cases, maybe worse than everybody else, because from day 1 to day 3, their income came to zero, and they had to ground all the airlines, all the planes, and pack them to various destinations. So we do hope that situation is changing, slowly but steadily. To this point, our hoteliers are opening slowly, one after the other. Definitely, we know in advance that not all of them are going to open in 2020. We all understand that without reservations, without bookings, doesn't make any sense to open your hotel and pay expenses of various kinds without having an income, without having a zero income. This, of course, gives a problem, because like Croatia, our GDP is based mainly on tourism being number one product, if I may use the word, for my country. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, our government has taken care of, like Croatia has taken care of the staff, but come on, let us face it, we are talking for more than 700,000 people working in the travel industry in Greece. I mean, the actual workers, not the assisting professions like, bars or restaurants or whatever. We're talking about people working in the hotels and travel agencies around the country. So, to this very moment, the majority of the travel agencies in the country are working on a home office base for a number of reasons, because this was the directive that came from the government that said, okay, guys, you want to keep on trying, and we can assist you, providing that you will not fire anybody from your staff, but they will have to work from home. I can, as I said before, I can always send to anybody who's interested the new data that I have as of July 1st, travel information. Just Georgi, let me know, and I'll be happy to send it to you, and you can forward it to anybody who's interested to know more than that. Coming now to
you can share the screen and you can.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. No problem at all.
Yes,
So hold on. Let me open just a minute. Let me open my.
I think it will be very interesting if you'll share the screen.
I can do that. Yeah, okay. Let me open this small PowerPoint presentation, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. And please also you can share your email in our chat, so everybody who is attending, they can
Sure, no
see
problem.
your contacts.
Hold on a second.
Contact you directly
A
for
second, please.
some information.
Okay, let me do share screens. No. See, here says host is disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, well,
my friend.
Just a moment. There is something with the settings here, so. Well, I think we have some small technical issue.
It's okay. Don't worry. I will send it. I will forward this small PowerPoint to your attention, and you can always forward it to whoever is interested to have it. I mean, there is no big deal. So, if I may use the very couple of minutes to say what we do, who we are.
Well. Sorry. That's okay. Now the technical issue is over, so you can share.
Okay, hold on a sec.
You can share it. Yeah. Well, please check. Yes. Perfect.
Okay. Can everybody see that? Good. I'm happy that everybody can see that. So we go to. This is the first thing. So as you can see, following the consultations on the European Union level from 1st of July, the following will apply. Possibility of entering Greece for all permanent, for permanent residents of the EU. Hold on a second, because I cannot read it, which includes the Schengen countries, including Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, and Romania, continues normally. Schengen countries, Iceland, blah, 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 Norway, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, as well as Ireland and the United Kingdom. There is also the possibility of entry for those third country nationals who have a residence permit in Greece, as well as other exceptions for third country nationals, family members, and so on and so on. Let's go to, these are for the visitors. Now coming to the passengers, this is how it goes. The passengers, meaning the clients that either coming to Greece to stay for a couple of days, or they are transit to other destinations. So as you can see in the list of passengers, the possibility of entry into the country for permanent residents of the following third countries: Algeria, Australia, Georgia, Japan, Canada, Morocco, Montenegro, New Zealand, Korea, Rwanda, Serbia, Uruguay, Thailand, Tunisia, and China. The list will be examined on the basis of reciprocity. In order to prove their place of residence, third country nationals may present their residence permit, work permit, identity card, as long as it states the place of residence and or the driver's license, whatever. We go to the entry points. The other entry points, land entry points, which applies basically for clients coming from the Balkans, in our case. The situation is that guests from Bulgaria can enter the northern Greece from the checkpoint at Promachonas. Some other points like Albania, Northern Macedonia, and Turkey, only crossings are allowed for essential reasons. Sea entrance gates, the two major gateways, Patras and Igoumenitsa, are open. Okay, prevention measures, check at every point and entry points. Definitely, this is happening as well to all the airports as well. So all travelers to Greece are required to complete and submit the passenger locator form 48 hours before their trip, which is available on the Visit Greece application and on the travel.gov.gr website. To protect everyone's health, Greek doctors and engineers have developed a program for the analysis and evaluation of the epidemiological data, on the basis of which visitors will be subjected to sampling COVID-19 test upon entry. These visitors should follow the instructions of the General Secretariat for Civil Protection. Greece, in cooperation with its European Union partners, reserves the right to revise its policy on these issues based on the evolution of epidemiological data. That's it. As I said, these are the data, the information needed mostly in our business. So, just I don't want to take more time from the panel. Let me say a couple of things about Mazi Travel, what we're doing, who we are, and why we are. First of all, myself, I have been 34 years in the business. Started back in the late 70s. Yeah, I know you're laughing. I can see you're laughing. I'm sorry. I could be your father.
You know, this
Yeah.
Respect,
respect,
yes, of course.
respect.
Of course, respect. Thank you very much. I appreciate your respect. So, the whole issue is that I started in the late 70s and I have been in the business since then. So practically it's more than 40 years, but who counts? Anyhow, Mazi Travel has 2 offices in Greece, 1 office in Cyprus. Our headquarters are based in Thessaloniki, in northern Greece, and we have a second office in Athens. Myself, I have been dealing with the European market out of Frankfurt for the last 8.5 years. I came back in Greece last summer. I mean, I came back in the beginning of June of 2019, and since then I'm working out of Athens. What are my responsibilities? Yes, I am responsible as area sales manager, as this is called, specific for a number of European markets, as well as East Asia and Latin America. Of course, being a flexible group, we don't stay. I mean, if a request comes from any other destination and needs somebody to answer it, anybody will answer it immediately. So 34, 35 members of the staff, divided into the majority of them in Thessaloniki, and with about 10 of us in Athens. We are mainly working with group business. That has been always our main target. As a tour operator, this was always our main goal. But apart from that, okay, we're handling FITs as well in a good numbers. So this is what I had to say for the time being. Thank you very much for giving me the podium to say a couple of words. Rest assured that if we have any updates, we will definitely let you know as soon as possible. And as I said, ladies and gents, we have to face it. This is a new era, but we have to keep on fighting. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we can say that now the situation in Greece is under control, and you are waiting for the flights to be open, and this will be the first huge step to make things going better, right? So this
flights are open. The flights are open.
Yes.
At this very moment, as I said, the flight. I mean, it's from the airliners. We don't know yet who's gonna do and how many flights are going to send. The flights are open.
This is exactly
the airports. The airports are open.
This is exactly what I mean. Like, I mean, the flights open. It means that regular flights, as it was before, like it was in 2019, 2018. So we know when the flight will be, which airlines are flying, and etc. and etc. And so I got you, and thank you very much for your presentation. It was very interesting data on Greece. So I would like to remind our attendees that still you can send us your questions, and it will be a great pleasure for us to answer you. We have some questions now. our colleague from India asks to send the presentation to the email, and I will share this email with you later, so we'll have the possibility to send the presentation to them. And we have the second question now in our session from Armenia. This is the question about Georgia, and now I will make my short presentation about the situation in Georgia and about what are we doing here and how we are facing the situation. So first of all, I would like to share with you my screen because I have a small presentation with numbers. So here it is. Well, first of all, I would like to tell you about Georgia because maybe some of our attendees they don't have the information because our country is was not so famous around the world as a travel destination even a few years ago. And from 2009, we started as a country. We started the big promotion. Each year, Georgia was more and more popular around the world. So. I would like to tell you about Georgia. Georgia is a small European country in the mountains of Caucasus. Our country has 4 seasons tourism because we have 2 points where we have the access to the beaches, and we have mountains, we have the ski resorts. So this is a very small country, but there is a big access to all 4 seasons travel. But another point is that economically, Georgia Georgia has the visa-free connection with European Union, and our plans for future as a country is to be the part of the European family, to be the part of the European Union. As you know, the 20% of our territory is occupied by Russia, and this is another sad but important point. Now I would like to tell you more about the situation regarding the COVID in our countries. Here on the screen you can see the numbers in the region because of the Falcon holidays. We were working not only in Georgia, but we were covering the region, Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia. As you see on the screen, here are the total numbers. So these are the latest statistics from our 3 countries. It's very sad. Armenia is the most affected country in the region. We can see it, but in the last weeks, the situation in Armenia is going better, and we think that very soon they will take the situation under control. The second one is Azerbaijan, and you can also see the numbers here. Azerbaijan is a big country in the region, so this kind of, I can't say this word normal, but it's kind of okay stats for Azerbaijan, but it's big as you see. And Georgia is with 931 confirmed cases in total. And from here we have 794 recovered and 15 persons dead. So this is the reason why Georgia was named between the world's safest destination. From the beginning, our government was very strict and took the situation under control. Here you can see the chronology and preventive measures against the spread of coronavirus in Georgia. From 29 January, first things happened in China, and there were first news from China about the COVID virus, and we stopped air traffic with China. After that, we had big numbers from Iran, and also we closed the borders with Iran. And on 26 February, we had the first confirmed case in Georgia, and it was a Georgian person who was back from Italy. So after that, very strict policy started and very strict regulations. As you see, very soon on March 4th, there is all types of traffic to Italy have been suspended, and 18 March, all borders are closed. After the 21 March, this 3 days later, absolutely the state of emergency was declared. And as you see, all these regulations were very strict, and the curfew was declared. It means that after 9 o'clock, no person in the street. But all these regulations, we can honestly say that this saved us because, you know, the Ministry of Health of Georgia officially said that we were not ready to the global pandemic like it happened in Italy or even in Armenia. We were not ready, and our health Ministry of Health made a big campaign against coronavirus. It was like stay home. It happened everywhere around the world, but in Georgia there was big marketing campaign from the ministry, and well, the only thing we can say to the government in this situation is thank you, because these regulations really saved us. As we see from 7th May, the tourism support package has been announced, and I will tell you more about this in the future slides. On 21st May, the state of emergency is over, and after that, on June 15th, the domestic tourism started. The hotels and restaurants started to reopen, but mostly we are talking now about the small restaurants and small hotels, mostly in the mountainous area and in the places which are popular with the domestic tourism. But the big chain hotels, they are open, but there are very strict regulations on the hotels, and in May we also got the regulations package from the government for the travel agencies and for the hotels for the transportations, that we have to keep the control on all travelers, to make the thermal screening every day, to have the disinfection liquid always, to clean your hands, to check the health of each passenger every day, and etc. and etc. Well, we had the recommendation from European Union to open our borders on July 1st, but our government declined this recommendation, and we are opening on August 1st. We took 1 month to prepare our country better for the numbers, so international travelers, because I would like to tell you later, there is a rather big interest in Georgia around the world. Here I would like to share with you the quick facts about Georgia and about the situation that was before and here and happened now. You know that Georgia is fully based on the tourism. In our economics, tourism has huge numbers of the GDP, and the two most growing industries in the country was winemaking. The Georgia is cradle wine. We have the 8,000 years tradition of winemaking, and this is why it was connecting to tourism and our beautiful nature and culture. Everything this we were sharing. The famous hospitality also. Everything this was our brand, which was called Georgia, and this is what we were sharing. But now Georgia is also one of the safest destinations, and you can see on the screen also the quote of the Ministry of Economy, Mrs. Natia Turnava, which said that we have the big experience now fighting against coronavirus. As you see, 83 hotels served over 19,000 people in quarantine during the pandemic, and this really enormous experience. And now, step by step, Georgia is more and more famous around the world as a safe country, as a country who had a successful experience fighting against the coronavirus. I would like also to tell you about government support and assistance to the tourism industry in Georgia. As I said, Georgia isn't a big country with a strong economy, and we are not a part of the European Union, so the resources we have is not enough to support all and everybody, as happened in Greece or Croatia, for example. But the thing we have now, we have on the first stage, we have the support from the government. It was deferred income tax until November. In Georgia, all travel companies, we don't have VAT tax at all. And now when the income tax was deferred until November, it means that we are not paying any taxes at all. 200 Georgian lari, this is about $70. This is support per month for 6 months for the unemployed persons. These very small numbers, but still this is better than nothing. This is the logical thing. And on the third stage, there is international campaign on promoting Georgia as a safe tourist destination. This is the most important key point. Well, the best thing is that the share of the countries in the current green zones was only 6% in the second half of 2019, because the biggest tourist traffic was from the neighboring countries like Russia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, and for now these most affected countries, especially Russia. So we can now talk about the numbers, as you can see on this infographic, that from UK, Greece, Estonia, Netherlands, Italy, Germany, China, France, Lithuania, Latvia, totally all these countries were only 6% of the tourist traffic in Georgia. Now our government is doing their best to make the better connection to promote Georgia in these countries. We can talk about the European Union, that we are waiting for the successful campaign there, but regarding China, we have everyday communication with our Chinese partners, and the situation is very difficult there because China restricted all airlines, and even to go to Hong Kong from the mainland, you need the visa, and it's very difficult process to get it. So, well, I think we will have one of our webinars with the partners from China, and they will update us better on this situation. Anyway, I would like also to tell you about the accommodation sector in Georgia. There was a research, a survey made by Galton Taggart, this one of the good and interesting companies in Georgia. This is a financial bank which is making research on the different sectors of the industry. So one of the research was made on the first week in June 2020, and there was about 150 participant hotels. So now you can see the numbers on your screen. As you see, most of Georgian hotels do not plan to change the prices, and because of they still have the hope that situation will be better soon. But now in the accommodation sector in Georgia, we have the special prices from the hotels as a company, you know, because they share the special rates, and still we are in the negotiations, because we know that the times of the big groups, at least in 2020, 2021, we are not waiting for groups, so there will be individual trawlers. And as Falcon holidays, we are mostly focused on the group trawling. So now we are also changing our contracts, and also we have the discussions and we have the negotiations with the hotel sector. Most hotels are open now, but still they are making the researches, making some new strategies, and they're trying to adopt their prices to the new reality. Regarding the domestic tourism, Georgia is a small country, and we always had domestic tourism, but in the last 10 years, there were more and more Georgians who were spending their holidays abroad. As you see, there was about $682 million spent by Georgians abroad. And now when the borders are closed and government is pushing everybody to use the domestic tourism, we hope that it will help our domestic industry. And some of these resources will be spent in Georgia. Well, now I would like to share with you also information about our future plans and goals as a Falcon Holidays, and what we are doing and what we were doing during the pandemic. You know, the most important thing is that, well, as everybody, we are trying to prepare the travel packages and focus on the 2021. But at the same time, we had the free time to prepare some different product, and we decided to focus on the software that will be the nationwide project for all Georgian tour operators and travel agencies, because one of the most important issues we had before was that in Georgia we did not have the wide range of software to help the tour operators to make the process and management in the company automatic. So this is what we were focusing during the pandemic, and now this is the project we are working on. We would like to create the software which will be accessible for all small companies and middle-sized companies in Georgia and Caucasus, and to help them to make the processes, the management and calculation, etc., booking in their companies automatic, because we are using such system in our company. So this is something we would like to share with everybody, because it will be the great help for the companies once the pandemic will be over and the industry will start to grow again. This software called Falcon as a Falcon holidays, we can understand it easily. This will be the new strategy which will connect the different sectors of tourism in the country, like, for example, booking systems, transportation system, the guides, and etc. This will be the travel portal which will have the different admin panels for the different travel sectors. Like for hotel, they will be independent. Booking system for the transportation and guides, it will be independent model, and also for the travel agencies with the accounting system, etc. I think this and one of the most important things around this software that it will be absolutely adopted to the new reality, because all of us, we know that regulations made by the government, now we can use our transport, for example, big bus or even mini bus, only 50%, for example, if we have 50 packs bus, so we can use it only for 25 persons and etc. The new reality gives us the new challenges, so we are now creating the software which will be ready for these challenges and which will help all our companies, first of all in Georgia and after that in Caucasus, to handle this situation. And we would like to support everybody, and we would like to support everybody to be ready to the situation when the pandemic will be over and things will be back to the normal. Thank you very much. This absolutely, I said everything what I wanted to share with you regarding Georgian situation in Caucasus, regarding the Falcon holidays, what we are doing, and how we are trying to handle the situation. Now I would like to go through the questions. Maybe we have some. Well, there are several countries, several questions on Georgia, and also the question on Greece, first of all. Congratulations to Georgia by Benjamin Karin. There is a question. Congratulations to Georgia for managing COVID-19 so well. You listed Georgia and UK as safe countries. UK has historically been an important market for both Croatia and Greece, but COVID-19 in UK is certainly not yet under control. How are Croatia and Greece balancing competing priorities of health and economy? I think that this is what you was talking about a few minutes ago, right?
Yeah.
Regarding the question. So maybe if you would like to add something, please, you are welcome.
Not as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
I have nothing more to add.
Okay. So we have the question from Armenia. What do I need to travel to Georgia? What's open and what's closed? And what will happen when I arrive to Tbilisi? Dear Ashot, Unfortunately, the borders with Armenia is now closed, and Georgia did not open its border before August 1st. After that, I think we will have the updated information. For the citizens of Georgia coming back, because maybe you have also the Georgian citizenship, we have the 14 days quarantine. So once you have the border, you will stay at the hotel, one of the quarantine hotels, for 14 days, and after that, you're free, so you can do whatever you want. Well, the third question is about historically there have not been easy relations and cross-border tourism between neighbors, Georgia, Russia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkey. Do you think that COVID-19 crisis will help reset regional relations and tourism recover or reinforce the problems? Well, I would like to say that the political situation around the world with the COVID became only more difficult, and there were no problems solved because now we can see the political crisis between the United States and China. So we cannot talk about that COVID will fix some problems, especially between Georgia and Russia, because as I already said, the 20% of our territory is occupied by Russia, and until the occupation will be stopped, we cannot talk about any normal relations between our country and Russian Federation. So there is a good question from Italy. Do the panelists believe that future clients will be seeking different products after COVID-19? Please.
Yes, of course. We are now already, we already have a couple of products. They already existed, but now we are more pushing it to present it, to sell it before hotels, because as everyone, all human beings, we are now more, let's put it, aware that hotels are keeping more people, concentration of people, different people from all around the world at the same place. But now we are, as I mentioned at the beginning, we are trying to sell and present products which are much more isolated, like yachting. Now we are trying to offer charters, chartered cabins on catamarans for 4 cabins, only 8 people with a skipper, hostess. This is something like a small hotel, isolated without involving a lot of people at the same time. The same is with the private houses, not apartments in the houses, but private villas. Also, they give privacy to the people, mainly families. Holiday resorts with the mobile homes, with the bungalows, the same thing. These are products that we are much more concentrate now, but we do have in our individual reservation department, we have still a lot of individuals coming in the hotels that are open at the moment. Mainly up on northerly part of Croatian coast, they are open. I already mentioned why, because of the closeness of the other countries that are traditionally coming here. On the south, from 1st of August, we are now getting some informations from hotel houses, from resorts, that they will open from the 1st of August because of lack of booking and the distance of the destination. Now we are, from 2 days ago, airports, flights are open, so we will see what will happen in the next couple of weeks. Also, the United Kingdom, from 1st of July, clients from UK, they can travel freely here to Croatia without going to self-isolation, to quarantine for 14 days upon arrival back home. This is also one important detail, fresh one. So we will see. Basically, it's already July. We will have to see what we can do. For example, Czech travel agency, they have sent by train approximately 500 Czech tourists. Yesterday, they arrived to Rijeka. And after that, they've been transferred by coaches to different destinations, depending what they have been booked. But mainly those are resorts. So basically, train we can consider as a one alternative transport where self-distance could be followed, could be kept up.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. George.
You're welcome.
I do believe that we are facing a new era. I told you before, and I'll go along with my Croatian colleague. People are seeking different type of services, different type of accommodation, different type of destination, if I may use the word. The small family-friendly hotels with 10, 12, 15 rooms maximum, for instance. Traditional small hotels of the same category, the same capacity. Yachting, by far. But as we all know, yachting is a very tricky business because it's always depending on weather conditions, it's always depending on this and that and the other, so it has a number of whats and ifs in between. Okay, there will be hotels, the big resort hotels that will still be in operation, that's for sure. I don't know how many of them. This is, I cannot start, playing the magician now and telling you that, okay, everybody will open back in 2021, or this is what is going to happen. I cannot predict. One thing I need to say is that, yes, the individual traveler is coming back in business, as we used to say. And the groups will be definitely smaller. I mean, we do not expect groups more than 20, 25 people at the most, at the peak. Maybe more groups of this size could be an idea. Maybe something like that, because you know better than me that nowadays, even the meeting industry is starting to move towards the Zoom and the new platforms of the kind, because as we speak now from three different areas of Europe, and we have colleagues watching us from different destinations in the world. So that means that's it. Things are changing rapidly. So we have to see, each and every country has to see how it's going to persuade not only the clients, first of all the suppliers, and ourselves as well, that we are entering a new period, a new decade, if you want, a new I don't know. I cannot give a specific answer. The one thing I know though is that it looks to me that the cruise boys and girls will face serious problems, because if you have 2,500 passengers or 3,600 passengers blocked into the middle of the ocean, then we don't have an alternative. For that reason, for instance, I have to let you know that one of our major Greek cruise companies, Celebrity Cruises, has already stopped practically their entire program for 2020, and they're focusing for 2021. Because it's the same situation. The same situation as it comes for the hoteliers with the protocols and this and that and the other. And okay, you can manage a protocol on Earth, but can you manage the same protocol in the middle of the ocean? I'm not quite sure. Now, what is going to happen in Greece? Are the parties going to finish? No way. The Greeks are very good people, but you have to have them sometimes under the police law to understand what the hell is going on. When the government says, okay, relax, gents, we're coming to second phase, we come to third phase, all the youngsters are out drinking beers and shots in the bars, packing like they never did it in the past. So hopefully a number of my compatriots, a number of my people, of my country people, especially the youngs, will understand that we have to be always alert. This is not finished. A second phase probably is coming by the beginning of the fall. Hopefully it will not, hopefully, but it's a great hope. I stand my case.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Regarding the new products in Georgia, I would like to say that, everything new is something old that all of us forgot. Because now we are going back to the individual travelers, and especially we are now pushing the ecotourism and mountain tourism. And because the Georgia is the country of the big culture, very old culture, and this is what we are doing. We are trying to take people to the mountains, to the villages, to spend more time in the ethnic places. And another point is that very interesting case is that Georgia is the second country in the world by the wild birds, so we are making the bird watching tours, and this is something that's specially made for individuals. So there are different opportunities, and now, as I said, we also, as a company, we are focused on the big group tours. We have the groups like 100 persons, 200 persons. It never was less than 75. So especially the Asian market, and this was what we were doing during past 2 or 3 years or so. Now we are also totally changing the structure of the company, our focuses and goals. So we are working, and we are trying to adapt to the new reality. Now we have the 2 projects. First is to change the structure of the company and the way to make the individual tours, and especially focus on the ecotourism. And the second is that we are making the software I was talking about, which will be focused on the nationwide support to the tour operators, because we understand that to this problem, the global problem, and it covers the whole earth, but especially when we are in Georgia, we have to at least try to support each other, the people within the industry. And for sure, we have to support each other, the people around the world. We are in the industry, and this is the thing we are all in. And so I thank you very much, dear panelists, for your participation. It was very interesting, and your participation was very important. I'm sure there were a lot of people who got the important information about your countries, and it was very interesting. Once again, I would like to repeat. So a big thanks to our participants. There were very interesting questions. We are almost for 1 hour online, so until it will be somewhat boring, I think we have to stop. Please leave your emails, and we will share the presentations on Greece, Croatia, and Georgia with you if you will be interested. You can also contact us via email or on our page on Facebook or via the WhatsApp. We are 24/7. We are open for any communication. So thank you very much. Thank you very much once again.
You're very welcome. Thank you for
very much.
inviting us.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the day. Bye.
Bye-bye. And meet you next week with the other participants.
With the update.
Bye-bye.
Bye.